Hello, everyone, and welcome to the It's in Queens podcast, covering events in the world's most diverse borough and most interesting borough.
And most famous.
And most famous borough. Between July 26th and August 1st of the year 2019. As always, I'm Mystery Man number 1, which makes you...
Number 2.
Oh, all right, good. We'll get maybe 3 and 4 will come back
soon,
sometime,
hopefully.
They're
One day.
missing. Those mystery men are missing. So we had an incredibly hot weekend.
Oh.
Yep.
So hot you could fry an egg on the street, Robert.
Yep. You really could have.
I mean, Mystery Man.
You really could have. Some of the events were postponed because there's a city law. And once it gets above a certain number, all events in city parks are canceled.
So I know the
Jamaican Jerk Festival has been postponed to August 25th.
Okay.
That we talked about it last week.
Right. The movie, the live performance in Astoria Park was moved.
Yes.
The movie that is actually happening as we
Today,
record, that's moved for
postponed.
rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of things.
We'll
and
have
also,
all the information
I believe the
coming
Queens Youth Music Fest was moved indoors.
Indoors. I was actually at it.
Oh, nice. How did that go?
It was fun. It was
Yeah?
good. Yeah, and they pulled it together good.
However, Forest Hills went on as planned.
Forest
Hills
Hills,
Stadium.
Weird Al Yankovic went on.
And then JoJo, whatever the young lady's name is, also performed there this week.
So we will have any of the events that were postponed last week that didn't go on. We will let you know when they're rescheduled as it happens, and we'll talk about them here.
Yeah, let's get into it.
But anyway, this weekend we have one of our big annual events.
Yes, I know this
it's actually. I understand it's the 41st annual.
Okay, we missed the 40th last
The
year.
Thunderbird American Indian Powwow. It goes fun for 3 days, July 26th to 28th.
Yep, robust.
It's actually a dance competition with more than 40 Indian nations involved. We could say a friendly dance competition, but it's also a competitive dance competition.
Egos at stake here.
They're going for prizes and glory, and of course, bragging rights and everything else. But they will be at the Queen's Farm, which, as we all know, is a working farm that actually produces corn and everything else. There was one in Staten Island. I'm not sure if it's still going.
Right.
But they will be there for the 3 days. It includes other things like they're going to have a big hoops dance celebration. They have a big sunset bonfire where they light a big fire, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
They'll have all kinds of Native American arts and crafts going on.
Some beautiful stuff. I remember.
Yeah. So that's
into turquoise.
That's a fantastic. Event if you want to watch the dance competitions, or if you just want to experience it all, or just be on a farm on a weekend in Queens.
It's a win across all boards.
Yep. There are also 2 things that probably no one else knows about, or at least not yet, because I don't think the press releases have been released. But there are 2 pop-up markets.
Oh, I know about
this weekend.
I'm about the one in Bulova. You want to go over that one?
The one in Bulova is the 25th and the 26th, which is actually a Thursday and a Friday.
Perfect.
During the day, noon to 6.
Yep.
And the Bulova Corporate Center.
Jackson Heights.
Is it Jackson Heights or is it East Elmhurst?
I consider the
a man who grew up in Jackson Heights can tell us. Do you claim this or do you not claim
one side
this?
of that Bulova Center is in Jackson Heights.
It's one of those 50-50.
I believe the entrance, the street address might be East Elmhurst.
Franklin K. Lane High School is right on the border of Brooklyn and Queens. And the way a cop once said to me, if there's an incident in one half of the building, the precinct from Queens, which I believe is the 105, responds. And if it's in the other part of the building, the 93, which is in Brooklyn, responds.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like that. Huh?
Yeah, very much so.
Anyway, there won't be any police action at this. There are
unless they want to shop.
There are 12 Queens. They're right. There are 12 Queens-based makers who will be peddling their products.
So this is the Made in Queens?
It's a part of the Made in
MIQ?
Queens initiative, Queens initiative. And these people make everything. Like there's special kinds of soaps and soy-based candles.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of jewelry, actually.
Yeah.
And T-shirts and all those kind of things. So it's a wide array of different things at the Bulova Center. Could I say that the Bulova Center is adjacent to the Home Depot?
Yes, okay. I would say that.
So adjacent to the Home Depot. There will also be a shuttle bus, and you can get the exact times through our social media, but there will be a shuttle bus taking people from the 74th Street subway station to the Bulova Center all day.
Remember when Home Depot was all baseball fields?
I don't.
Yeah,
I
would. That was the rival Little League.
Oh yes, now I do remember that.
Elm Jack's over closer to Rikers Island, and there was another Little League in that field there. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, lament America's pastime being replaced by Home Depot.
For those of you listening on the podcast, there's a tear rolling down my cheek right now.
There is also this weekend, which is July 27th and July 28th,
right?
A similar pop-up market underneath the 7 train.
Yeah.
I call it the L, but people,
the elevated train.
I say that to my kids, and everyone goes, "It's not the L, it's the 7.
Yeah.
The L goes to Canarsie."
Well,
but
when we were
kids,
the EL
when we were kids,
elevated train.
Any kind of an elevated train was an L.
It was an L, sure.
Anyway, under Lowry Plaza, which is 40th Street, really underneath the L/7,
right?
We'll have a pop-up market. Now, they're doing this in combination or in partnership with the Queens Night Market.
Oh, okay. So food vendors and craft
specialty
vendors?
projects. Remember, and the Queens Night Market. I mean, everyone loves that. It's going gangbusters.
Did that happen over the weekend? Because that's in New York Hall of Science.
But it's in the Hall of Science, but I never got any text.
No cancellation on that.
Yeah, so maybe it went on. So that's kind of fun. We also have, for those of you who want to stay inside, if it's going to be this hot out.
That's what I did. I caught a movie over the weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
In Queens?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Something tells me that was a non-convincing. Yeah. Anyway, every now and then the Museum of the Moving Image does a See It Big series.
Oh, yeah, with the big screen,
the big
70 millimeter.
They use the 70 millimeter, which has very good sound and very good visuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're kicking
really
that
good
off.
Sound, like.
Does it? Okay, so I went to one, and it was great. My kids were little, so they loved it. It was Hello Dolly.
It feels like it's coming, it's all around, like it's
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. So anyway, they're going to start on August 1st. They're going to start the series, and it's about 5 weeks long. They're showing A Space Odyssey, Dunkirk, Hamlet, Brainstorm, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, Roma, Ready Player One. And altogether, there are more than 20 screenings of all those.
I'd say 2001 and Ready...
That would be good to see on a
wide
stream.
Ready Player One is also the same, like, sort of like very high energy, very like good visuals.
It's a mad, 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 mad world.
It's a good comedy.
That is,
it's funny.
That might be good to see.
Might be good. And
the other stuff we haven't talked about. We've talked about a lot of the ongoing, the movies in the park, the music in the park, and all that. Did we talk about Travers Park in Jackson Heights, your hometown?
My hometown.
Because they've actually started a Sundays in the Park series.
Saturday.
And that will be every Sunday, including this July 28th. There's someone named DJ Rehka. Have you heard of DJ Rehka?
Didn't they play Flushing Town Hall last year?
DJ Rehka, Rehka is kind of, I knew her when she was a Queens College student.
Excuse me.
She's Indian, and she was involved in some female Indian projects with my wife.
Oh, okay.
She decided to become a DJ, Bhangra music, and she's
killing
huge.
it.
She's killing it.
Killing the Bhangra
She
world.
will be live on July 28th at 6 p.m. In Travers Park, which is not only in Jackson Heights, it's about 77th Street.
Is that still the historic district?
I'm not sure that counts.
I think it's 35th Avenue.
But
historic district.
yeah,
Okay.
But that kicks off. I mean, that actually doesn't kick off. It's a continuation.
One night only.
That we never talked
the
about.
summer
And
series is
every
happening,
Sunday
but DJ Rehka is only there on the 28th.
From then on Sundays at 6 o'clock, you can go see live music, various different genres.
Okay.
I personally like DJ Rehka.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
Okay, crazy.
Our official Queensboro historian,
Jack Eichenbaum.
Yeah. He's starting some tours.
All right.
After I think he had one planned
get him on the show,
for last
right?
week. We do have to get him on the show.
Yeah.
We had one planned. It was too hot. But anyway, he does Willets Point, Flushing Bay on July 31st.
July 31st, the
leaving
last
at
day of
6
July.
a.m.
Yep.
The last day of July. Now, he will tell you that Willets Point is not really Willets Point. It's a misnamed place.
Tell me more.
He'll tell you more on this thing, but he says that Willets Point is
that's actually a good way to sell that
Fort
tour.
Totten. He says that Fort Totten is the real Willets Point, and Willets Point, where all of the chop shops are and everything else, is not really. It's someone gave it that wrong name, and it's been. But technically, it's not. The city does not recognize.
I always call it the
Willets
Iron
Point.
Triangle.
Yeah, you call it the Iron Triangle. Yeah. Anyway, he'll be going there, and he'll talk all about the development plans and what's going on. You know that Willets Point, at least the Iron Triangle, they don't have paved roads and they don't have plumbing.
No, I mean, you know, it was no secret as a Queens resident that if you needed a mirror, you needed a muffler
for your car, you go there.
But you also risked bottoming out your car on the roads that were out there,
right?
Yeah, and if there was a rainstorm, you couldn't even see the pothole because it looked like the rain would fill up. Yeah, it was rough. The city neglected it for quite some time.
Well, you know, now they want to kick them all out.
I know, yeah.
But anyway, he'll be taking on a walk there, talking about all the development plans they have there, and take you to the spot where they're planning the A train. You know, the LaGuardia they want, or an air train.
Air train. They
want to build an extension from the 7 train to take the air train.
Makes a lot of sense. I hope it happens. To be honest with you, because
you want the air train.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want anyone to be displaced or anything like that, but I think it's very difficult to get to LaGuardia.
It is,
except for that one bus that goes there. You know,
I wonder if the taxis are against it.
I bet they would be. I mean, to take away their business.
Yeah,
but it makes sense. Like in a environmental way. And
well, you should go on the tour.
I will. Maybe I'll give the tour.
You can,
I'll give my own tour.
And you know, you're going to see Flushing Bay. Now, I'm looking at this. I have to go check the weather. I have to go check the what do you call it? The high tide.
Oh yeah, because
to find out if it's going to be high tide. Because if this walk is going on during low tide,
oh boy.
There's another thing that kicks off this week. Well, really August 1st, and that is there's a partnership between the Flushing Hills Choir. Forest Hills Choir.
Yeah. I knew you were
words.
going to get there.
The Oratorio Society of Queens and Scola Cine Nomina. They're going to be presenting concerts. And I don't know. Again, the Oratorio Society of Queens.
So Scola is school.
Cine, the Cine Quainon without
school without name.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Look at that. You're bilingual.
Look at that.
I would give you a high. How do you say high five in Latin? Cinque altus. Cinque altus.
In su face.
Yeah. They will be giving 3 concerts, and again, this is not just a few people singing. This is a fantastic group. They're all going to be at the Church in the Gardens, Forest Hills Gardens. The first one is Mozart on August 1st. Then they will go again on August 8th and August 15th.
Nice.
So that's starting up. But hey, that's enough about what's going on in Queens.
That's right. We got a special
guest coming up. Let's take a break and then come back with our special guest, and we'll find out who he is and what he's doing here then.
That's right.
All right. Thanks. Well, next week, on our broadcast next week, just to give you a bit of a teaser, we'll be talking a little bit in depth about the what's now called the Festival of Cinema New York, right? It started out as the Kew Gardens Festival of Cinema, and it's grown, and it moved to Forest Hills, and they're going to show about 150 films. But let's talk about one of the films that will be in that movie.
First night.
The first night.
Film on the first night.
The first night. Excited, Charles, because I cannot pronounce it. Charles, tell us your name.
It's Caracciolo.
Charles Caracciolo.
On the other side, they say Caracciolo. But my family has made it Caracciolo, which vexes me. But
okay.
Caracciolo,
so you're not an Irish guy from Woodside.
No, not that. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
I can pronounce Flynn and Fitzgerald. But so tell us about your movie, because it's actually about Queens too.
It is. It has a real Queens flavor. And we were watching the Oscars on 2016 Oscar nights, February, whatever, and every nominated film was just that kind of gloomy, you know, a whorehouse in Bogota, a Ukrainian orphanage. It was just really negative, not negative stuff that needs to be called out. But stuff that I was like, wow, doesn't anybody make a documentary about a good thing, a happy thing?
Uplifting.
Yeah, uplifting.
Right. When I was in college, we saw, there was a guy named Les Blank. He made films called Gap Teeth Women. And they were incredibly enjoyable. And he made a film called Garlic is as Good as 10 Mothers. Happy stuff, really enjoyable. That you're going to go in and you're going to escape for a little bit.
So is that what this is?
Right. So based on that, my bandmates were there. My wife Carol was in the band, and my friend John. And I said, we should make a happy documentary about, you know, a good thing. And we started batting it around, like, why don't we do it about when we were in the band? And that became, why don't we do it about nobodies? And we were like, yeah, we should. And then you know how that, you know, it's like when people, I'm sure this is how people kill people. They go, you know, we should kill him. I'm like, yeah, we should. No, we should. No, we should. And that's how the film happened. Yeah, it was almost like a murder plot.
So Nobodies, for those who don't know, is was a rock and roll club in Flushing.
Right. Yeah, it was
right over by Flushing Town Hall, right? Like
very
in that area.
Yeah, Northern Boulevard.
Yeah, it was on near 149th and Northern. It was Poets first, and then it became Nobodies in the, I guess, the very late 80s, maybe the early 90s.
And so the heyday would have been the late 80s, right?
The heyday would have been 89 to about, probably maybe a little forward, 90, 91. And then it started to, they changed the name, and it was going strong until 93, 94. And then it, you know.
So it was after the Ramones.
It was quite a bit after the Ramones, yeah. Our Queen's forebears. Yeah.
So tell us about this film. What does the viewer who goes to the opening night of the Festival of Cinema, what does he get to see, or she get to see?
Well, it's a real Queens movie, and we were, you know, dead set on that being the case. There are sections in the film where the guys are just, I'm from Forest Hills, I came from Maspeth, I came from Whitestone, and we didn't, like, you know, you're out of the film if you were from Rockville Center or anywhere on Long Island, but there's a pride of place, and you know, we were happy that, you know, there was almost, we played at CBGB's and famous clubs in Manhattan, you know, all over, Kenny's Castaways, some more famous than others, and they have a real history to them. And there was like, wow, we're playing at CB's. And then you'd roll in and they would treat you, if you were like nobody, garbage. They would treat you like garbage. And it was like getting kicked in the teeth. And then you'd bring 20 of your friends to the Bowery at 1 in the morning on a Monday, and they'd give you like $9. I'm like, well, we're going to split a bowl of soup again. Right. And so
what was the name of your band?
We were Third Eye Butterfly when we played there. The first time we were the Ides of March, and we got a cease and desist. Because there was a band in the 60s.
Oh, really?
Is that right?
Yeah.
So this movie, you get to see actual live footage of concerts and interviews with people.
How'd you find that?
Well, so after we finally figured, yeah, we should do this, 2 days later, after the Oscars, I put a thing up on Facebook saying, I asked the two promoters, are you guys good with this? Because if you're not going to be in the movie, there's no movie.
There's no movie.
They were, you know, they're both around still. They're both still products of Queens. And they were like, oh, you know, through the years, people have asked us to reopen and have reunions. And, you know, it's a lot for us. We have lives, and we've continued with our lives. And I said, we'll sit you down and interview you. That's it. And they were like, we're good. And then I put a little blurb saying, who's interested? And it was just, because we didn't know.
Waves,
we were like,
right?
Maybe it only mattered to us, my wife and my friend.
Right.
Maybe it only mattered. And people came out in droves. They were like, I'm in. Here's a picture of me with big hair, and here's a videotape of us, you know, clowning on stage wearing the goofiest outfits.
Now, this was 89.
There's a little bit of hair bands.
Oh,
so hairband was big, right?
Yeah, but the real great thing about the club was you could see a hairband before us, a pop band that just looked normal, like T-shirt and jeans, and then you could see a funk band and a reggae band. It was not one of these places where it was going to be 3 hours of metal where you could peel your face back, you know.
So you mostly recreate this through interviews and so like in time, real time interviews, and then footage from old stuff,
right.
And then anything else like
we interviewed, I think maybe close to 40 people. Musicians, fans, promoters. We got one of the owners, and he was just staggered. That, like, when they told me they were doing a documentary, he said he was floored because he thought it was just, you know, it was 30 years ago in his life. It was, you know, something he had moved beyond.
Turned the page.
Yeah, he was very excited about it. And we spoke, and then everybody came with VHS tapes. So VHS tapes are obviously, you know, it's like somebody handing you like an Edison cylinder, you know, Victrola.
So you converted the VHS to...
And luckily I work in television, so I made the movie for really like under $100. It's like a lesson. I have the job. My boss was fine. I used a music service that we have a license with. I said to the acts, look, if you want your music in the film, you have to donate it. Because I can't pay rights. If somebody drops $10 trillion on us to distribute the film, then we'll readdress. But if you want and nobody balked.
Right.
And same thing with pictures. I was finding great pictures and going, download it, put it in the rough cut. Now that it's survived, you know, it's in the final, I have to call the people who I took the Facebook photos down. Are you cool if we use the picture? They're like, yeah, sure. I didn't tell them it was already in, but I suppose I'm telling them now.
So one of those what kind of music do you get to see if you go to this movie?
Well, there's a lot of metal. A lot of the metalheads are still banging the drums for it, and they were great. You know, it's funny though because everybody's a little heavier and a little balder and a little, a little older, obviously. Yeah. And but the memories are like, you were like, what was your favorite story? And it just,
the anecdotes. It's just a movie full of anecdotes.
Yeah. Did any of the bands reunite for performance?
Not yet, but we're hoping.
I can see that coming down the road, right?
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, a lot of them were just had gotten together for the first time in years and months and stuff. So,
now you played in a band in Nobodies.
I did, yeah.
What was your band?
We were first called the Ides of March, right? And then we got a cease and desist from the guy. He was in Survivor. And
the guy from Survivor, the Tiger guy?
His earlier band was
he couldn't live off that Eye of the Tiger money. He had to break your chops.
There's a song that Ides of March out called Vehicle. It's a great song. You probably know it. And so once we got the cease and desist, we were like, look, let's pick a name that we're not going to get busted on. Right. And I was going to Queens College.
Yeah, there you go.
And I had a film textbook.
A night, Queens College night.
And I'm looking through, and we were like Third Eye Butterfly. It was a film where they had 3 projectors, and every time they showed it, it was different because they would start to loop a little later and a little earlier, and it was aimed at one screen. It sounds like something you'd be like forced to watch an intro to cinema, but then like, I gotta get out of here. You walk out in 5 minutes.
Third Eye Butterfly.
So that's what we called it. Yeah.
And what kind of music did you play?
We did power pop. It was, when people say, "Who do you sound like?" I go, "I don't know, Green Day." They're like, "You sound like Green Day in 19?" I'm like, "No, all right." I pull it back, and I don't know. We got it compared to Teenage Fan Club. We got compared to a lot of alternative bands and power pop that was out at the time.
Nice.
So that was always nice. Jellyfish, some people.
Jellyfish.
And you were the drummer?
Band.
I was the drummer. My wife was the bass player. When I met her, she was not my girlfriend yet. She became my girlfriend, and she was the bass player the whole time. And my friend John, who I grew up with, 2 houses away in Flushing on 160th, down from Queens College, he was the guitar player. So we were a tight group of friends.
When they say you lock in with the rhythm section,
you
guys were locked in.
We were the rhythm method, right? Those are the Talking Heads and other Queens. They were married, the drummer and the bass.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. And okay,
Tom Club,
can we see any of your any footage of you playing in this movie?
Yes, there's one funny bit where we're lauding the talent of the crew. The sound crew was just they were great guns all the time. And my wife is playing, and her plug falls out, and we had footage of it, and you could see the look on her face. It's like, what? My guitar player continues to play, and we're like, what's going on? And then there's a blur on the film, and it's the guy from the sound booth who was just Johnny on the spot. Because we'd play at clubs where it would be like, whatever, man, and you wouldn't get any help.
No.
Just, like you guys have 3 songs left. You're like, wait,
they wouldn't even adjust like the volume.
Yeah, it was terrible. And so this one of those. That's one of the scenes. He puts it back in, and we're back to normal.
Bass players are never supposed to get too
right. She didn't move. Yeah.
Cool back there.
She was she was not frazzled at all. Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. So tell us also a little bit about yourself.
So
you said you grew up in Flushing.
Right, born and bred, and wanted to make movies my whole life. Got a film camera, GAF, 8mm when I was 13, and a lot of the films were, we made, we shot them with that, and I always say I had a musical film down deep in me somewhere because we would make films about, we grew up on, maybe you guys did do Starsky and Hutch, Beretta, all the crappy Kojak. Yeah. We lived and imbibed those, and just so when we had
Y50,
not so much because we wanted the grit. We wanted Starsky and Hutch. Okay. There was always a pimp, and we didn't know what a pimp was, but we learned,
That's why Sabotage was such a great video.
Right. Yeah. It apes that whole look. Yeah. And so we made movies like that. It would be like, you're the bad guy, you're the mafioso. We didn't even, it was just corny as hell. But in the middle of these films, we'd be in the hospital with one of the dons who had been shot. We'd be like, hey, I'll be right back. And somebody on camera would put the needle on like a Jethro Tull record, apropos of nothing. And we would be like, it'd be some flute music playing. And then we would talk mafia business. And same thing, we put some Skinner on. So we were always trying to jam music into our terrible little films.
That's great.
And so I think that might have been the touchstone.
That was a spark.
And you have another job. What is
I do videotape editing. I do television editing, commercials, long form stuff, a lot of corporate stuff. Now that's not the stuff you're not dreaming when you're like, I hope I get to do annual meeting videos for a financial company. Nobody dreams of that. So at 50,
business.
At 54, 55, to make a movie and have it get recognized, I'm telling you, I'm just over the moon. And to have it recognized in my home borough is just.
Now are you still making music? You still playing?
I play with Mark Fox, a local musician friend of ours, and I play at open mics and stuff like that. I'm not in any established band. My wife and my friend John, we reunited. We showed the film at Flushing Town Hall in September for the big premiere.
Yeah, I remember that.
Huge success. And then the next night, we had a gig, the three of us, at a local pub in Flushing, BB's.
Oh, yeah, I love BB's.
Right?
Yeah, Sheehan's.
So we were nervous as hell. I mean, we were in our 50s. And because John and I couldn't sing and hit the same notes that we did when we were in our 20s, my sons both sang. And I was playing. I was verklempt. I was, it was a real family affair.
How old are your sons?
Yeah.
They are 20 and 18 now.
Are they
musicians?
21, 18.
Are they rock and roll animals?
They were in the beginning. I had my son Antonio come to an open mic with me at Near's Tavern. It's all Queens. When he was 15, and I was like, man, I didn't get on stage till I was 22. Right. I said, so you got me beat. So I thought I lit the firecracker, And after a while, he does musical theater. He's doing something with the St. Greg's group in Bellerose now. He did some theater in high school at Francis Lewis. So they both graduated from Lewis. Both went to Queens College. My wife and I. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Great stuff.
So tell us more about after this showing, about 10 days from now.
Yeah.
When? What else? What's going to happen to this movie?
Well, we did make another festival, which again I was happy with one and one local, but we had gone 0 for 4 on the first 4 festivals. We didn't make Queens World, which I was like, it's right up their alley, but it didn't count any chickens. And I spoke to Katha, is that her name?
Katha.
And she was like, you scored very high, but but they showed her on our test documentary. And when I saw it on TV, I'm like, all right. This is better than what I made. I just, you could see the money in that. It was just a great movie. And again, that's an important movie about a subject that I happily watched. It wasn't like, oh my, like I wanted to kill myself.
It wasn't.
And again,
nothing.
Right. In Columbia slum. Nothing wrong with those movies, but I just was like, maybe let's find out if that was. Yeah. So anyway, we made a film festival in Carson City, Nevada.
No way.
It's called Jukebox International Film Festival, and it's specifically about musicians, musical scenes, musical biographies, anything music. And when I entered it, after going 0 for 4 on the first 4, and then making Festival of Cinema, I thought, wow, perchance to dream, right? Maybe we'll make this other one, and maybe I'll go. And I'm like, yeah, you'll go. You're gonna fly to Carson City. And
it's
then
the capital, I think. Isn't Carson City the capital of Nevada?
Is it? Might be. I used to know all that stuff.
That's one of those weird ones that you.
That you lose a bar bet.
Like, what's the capital of Oregon?
Vegas.
Is it Salem?
All right. So we're going out there. My friend John and I are going out.
Okay.
He's put us on some panels, and then miraculously, he was like, I can give you 1 o'clock on day 2 in the afternoon at 2:15, or I can give you 9:30 on the first night. And I was like, duh, what do you think? I was like, that's the one I want.
That's the one I want, yeah.
So he was very, very nice about giving me that spot. And so we have, and then we're going to release it on DVD.
Nice.
Yeah, we are. With extras, about 50 minutes of extras.
Kickstarter or
I don't know. We had that for the premiere because we needed to book Flushing Town Hall. And then the guy came in with such a great rate that I was very knocked out that people, reached into their pocket, but we didn't make our goal in time, and I thanked them in the credits anyway. Those people, I mean, that's an amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
That didn't used to happen, and when you see people like come and really reach in their pocket.
I hope it sparks like a nice night of music. Everybody from
I do too.
Everybody from Nobody's kind of plays, maybe like a 3 or 4
get
band set or something like that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Where can people find out more about this on social media?
I have. This is one of those like alphabet soup things. HTTPS. If you search "We Were All Nobodies" doc film on Facebook, it'll bring you to the group.
We were all nobodies
doc film. It'll be on there, and the showing is on Saturday, August 3rd, 8:30 p.m. at the Midway, where I saw movies as a kid. My father worked at Left Rack. He worked at Left Rack City for the phone company, and my mother would pick him up, and we would meet there at the Midway and see, I saw all my other, Jaws and Star Wars.
I was going to say Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
At the Keats and the UA Quartet.
RKO Keats
more
Star
towards
Wars.
Northeast Flushing, But I saw tons of movies at the Midway. I saw Tommy there with my sister in a midnight movie. I saw Rocky Horror there. We saw a whole bunch of movies. So I have a special attachment. So for it to be in one of the theaters that I was in.
It's total homecoming.
Wow. Yeah. This is an uplifting in every way.
Story.
Anything else that people watching this should know?
Just that films about Queens. When I went to the Queens World Festival, I got a pass. Yeah. And a lot of the films, I went on a night where it was filmmakers from Queens.
Yeah, I remember that.
Local
team. Yeah.
And it was just, I was knocked out by so much of the talent. And, Manhattan gets a lot of the, the center of the meat. They get the center cut. And often a lot of the talent, some great talent, is in the outer boroughs, and a lot of it gets ignored. Like, you know, when the music scene was big.
You know, we might be the rougher cut of meat, but we know how to cook it. We could just stew it for a while. It's got way more flavor.
That's right.
You know,
it marinades in its juice.
Soup. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Charles, your last name one more time?
Caracciolo.
Caracciolo. Thank you very much for coming on this.
Thank you, guys. It was great.
On this broadcast.
We'll have the link on the YouTube channel as well.
And remember that it's When We Were All Nobodies, but also don't forget It's in Queens. It'll be on itsinqueens.com and hashtag It's in Queens. And we will have more on this next week as well.
That's right, with Jason. Maybe.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you all for consuming this video, for putting up with us. Charles, congratulations. I can't wait to see this movie.
I can't wait to see it again.